I'm Kerry Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. In this next season of the Get Your New View podcast, I'd like you to meet even more members of our New View team who have brought examples of their favorite projects they've worked on with our customers to create efficiencies, utilize automation, and simply use even more of the features of their Business Central software. Everyone, I'd like to have you welcome Cynthia Priebe, one of our senior trainers and consultants. She's come to share some stories with us about business process improvement. Cynthia, what kind of stories have you brought for us today?
Well, Kerry, I thought today we would talk about banking.
Yay. Everybody's favorite topic.
Yeah, exactly. And not just about money coming in, but money going out.
Yep.
So, all right. So this is a client that I worked with, and they were actually feeling like they had a pretty good handle on their banking and that they had their banking automated. So I said, all right, well, let's talk about how your banking is automated. They said, well, first of all, it's really cool because we still get a lot of customers who send us checks. So we got one of those check scanners from our bank. So we put the checks through the scanner and we don't have to create a deposit and, total everything up, et cetera, in the system. We can just record every single one of those checks and they're individual. I said, that's great. So I'm thinking, all right, so they're, using automation. I said, so tell me a little bit more about how you're automating for that type of stuff. I said, well, so then what we do is, we get our statement and we download our statement from the bank. They don't mail it to us. That's automation, right? I said, yeah, that's automation. I said, then what do you do? And then we go in and we bring up the bank reconciliation in NAV, in this case, and we go through and we look at the bank statement and, it's great because we use automation and we mark almost all the lines. It's wonderful. So we just go down and we unmark the lines that, don't apply. And I said, all right. And how long does the bank rec take you? Well, it takes us a while because, there's a lot of checks and we have a lot of payments out just as much as we have a lot of stuff coming in. And, so usually figure, half a day or so, to do the bank rec. I said, wow, that's pretty good. I said, so again, on the checks, when they go through that check scanner, how does that show up in that statement? Well, that's part of the challenge because every single one of those checks is a deposit. So we were kind of thinking about talking to the bank about, is there any way we could scan all of those and then they could make them into a deposit for us? And I was like, okay, wait. I think we'd be going the wrong direction. So let's look at your test environment and let's go through this cool feature we have for auto match. And let's look at how that will work for you. Now, this auto match feature is in their version of NAV because they're in one of the NAV, and they're looking to upgrade. So, I kept thinking, well, I was a little concerned, are we going to have everything we need in this version of NAV because I'm used to working in Business Central. But sure enough, we did. We were able to, guess what? Take that bank statement and automate it even more. Instead of getting the printout from the bank statement, I showed them how they could go in, get the list of transactions. And that's one of the things people have to remember. It's not really a statement. It's a list of transactions for the same period that the statement would be for. And you could choose, do it weekly, do it daily, do it monthly. We were going to stick with monthly for now. That was too big of a leap for them to think about more frequent. And bring those transactions in after we switched them over to the auto match version of the bank rec. Now, the reason I got so excited when I heard her telling me how these checks worked, one of the biggest challenges when you go to use auto match is if you really do use deposits. It works, but it doesn't have that extreme time savings that it does if you have each check that you've received as an individual line. So now I showed her, okay, remember where you marked all the lines and then you went and unmarked what hadn't cleared. I showed her how we could import a file, click on auto match, go filter the list to what didn't auto match those, quickly take the bank fees and other charges that hadn't been recorded in the system yet, get them to a journal and posted, come back to the bank reconciliation, see them there. And by the way, one of the exciting things in the newest release that came out is that when you do that, those will be auto-matched now. Prior to this, we had to go in and match them. Did you know that, Kerry?
I did know that. It's an exciting
Yay!
feature, though, and I absolutely love that because it just makes sense that that's already done. We don't have to say go on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So little change. Now, it wasn't going to help them,
love it.
But I just wanted to share that with everybody. So that was one of those, oh, it's so little, but it's big, right? And I showed her how to do that, and she's like, I said, now that's automation.
Yep.
Then we talked about the other way. How do you automate checks going out? Well, she said, oh, we do ACH. I said, oh, that's wonderful. Let's go look and have you had any issues? Whatever. She goes, no, it's great. We just do all the payments as manual payments in Nav, and then we go to, we go out to the bank website and we do it there. Okay, that's not automated. She, yeah, it is. We don't, I said, no. What if I could do it for you so that when you did your payment journal, you could create a file that you gave to the bank? She said, well, we can't do that. We already talked to our developer and he said, it's in there. You just need to set it up. And we went in there and we couldn't figure it out. And I said, well, but we don't need to stop there. Now you have somebody who knows how it works. It's okay. Developers are great. They have their skill, but they're not a functional user. They haven't really used the system the way that we have, right? The way you have and the way I have. So we went through everything. We generated an ACH file. We sent it off to the bank as a sample. The bank had 2 changes we need to make. We made those changes, and we went ahead and got the ACH up and running. And right there alone, they saved 3 hours on every check run.
Yep.
And that was weekly. So the bank rec, I have to admit, I didn't get a time savings from her on that, but I know that they are thrilled with it. But 3 hours a week, I'll take that win any day.
Yeah, absolutely. And think about how many errors they saved as well, because they completely eliminated a manual process where they were having to enter the same thing into 2 different systems, risking a mismatch with what they sent to the bank. So that's fantastic.
Right. And it was interesting you bring that up, because I brought that up when I was talking to her about she has to enter that information into the bank. And she said, well, yeah, but we only have to enter it once because then we have that payee set up. And I said, but how many times have you had that payee set up incorrectly? And she says, oh, they pre-note them. So we found out about those errors in advance. Oh. And I said, okay, fine. But now, was that error also in your Nav system? She said, no, it was, like numbers got transposed or whatever. I said, so we just eliminated that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Well, this is such a fantastic example when we talk about our transformation scales about you don't know what you don't know. These folks thought that they were automated. They already had improvements in place that they were using with the software. And there were a few more things that they just didn't know existed, or they didn't know how to use it. And you were able to come in and just help them to understand how to expand what they were doing already to become even more automated. And I love that you were able to build on that. And I even caught in one of your comments that there's a little more that they could even do there, right? So you were talking about how they were doing it monthly. And we find very frequently that some of our customers who are really doing very well in this area are reconciling those things daily. So I imagine that would be another step that you could take with them that would help them to keep track of their cash even more.
Exactly. And I think it also reminded me that just asking the question, is your banking automated, isn't enough.
Yep.
Because everyone's definition of that, like when you say, I have an ERP system, what does that mean? Everyone's definition of that is different.
Yeah.
So you need to know how to dig and ask the next question. And sometimes you'll get a little pushback because they'll be like, I already told you, we're automated. Well, I understand that, but I want to understand that our definitions of automated are the same. So not having a fear, I don't know if that's just because I'm older now, but I'd like to say it's because I'm more experienced. I'm not afraid to ask those questions.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm not afraid to ask a question that I don't know the answer to. You know, this whole fear of I'm a consultant, I'm supposed to know everything. If a consultant tells you they know everything, run as fast as you can the other way because they're lying to you.
Correct. It's a continuous learning process, and there's always
Absolutely.
something new that you may not know about because out of all the 100 things, you only learned 98 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 99.
There you go. Well, I love how you continued asking why, right? It goes behind my theory of ask why 3 times. And certainly observing really helps. I had a situation where I was talking with a customer about their AP process, and they said they were happy, everything was going well. And I said, great, but let's just observe really quick. And what I found out was they were manually typing in all their checks instead of using the system to bring everything forward into the payment journal.
Oh my.
And so we showed them that one simple thing, and they were so incredibly impressed. But if I hadn't observed that, and if I had taken that person's word for it, I would have missed it. So that observation and asking again and again, just to make sure that they're using as many features as possible, is a really important part of the consulting process that we bring when we're talking about business process improvement.
But I think another area is reports. I've seen where they're working with a journal and somebody needs to review that. So let's not even talk about approvals, right? But because I don't think those work real well with journals anyway. But so they were taking the payment journal information out to Excel, and then they were going to the underlying applied entries and taking that out to Excel and combining them into a report. And there was a report out there for that.
Yep.
But they didn't know about it because it's buried, right? It's so, and like you stated, I don't think this person thought that that was a problem.
Right.
That's just what they had to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the best employees that get into that situation because, hey, it's my job. I need to make it work. So they're not, it's not that they're afraid to ask for help or to ask for a better way, but it's that it's just in their nature to solve problems on their own.
Right. And they've got a good handle on what they know already. And when you show those folks that improvement, they're all over it. So
Exactly.
That's good. Well, fantastic. What a great story, Cynthia. Thank you very much for bringing that to share with us today.
You are very welcome.
I'm Kerry Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your New View podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure that you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you are ready to rethink today for tomorrow, look for the link below and contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you. Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you suspect there just has to be a better way and you don't know what it is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.